For the Baltimore Colts, the 1974 season began with sunshine hopes and blue sky optimism. But after 3 straight losses, it became apparent that 1974 would be a year spent not battling for a title, but a season dedicated to the development of what has become one of the youngest teams in pro football. In search of that development, General Manager Joe Thomas took over as head coach for the season's 4th game. In Foxborough, the Colts were beaten badly, but from that game on, though Baltimore was to endure a 2-12 record, the Joe Thomas coached Colts were never outclassed, were always competitive. They hung close in every game, and they kind of grew up together.
When I took over as head coach after the 3rd ball game last season, had no intentions of staying on for another season. Then my big role became to keep our football club together at that time, and it wasn't a matter how many ball games we're going to win. It was to see if we could get some maturity in our football club. After the season was over, the big decision I had to make, one of the biggest decisions I had to make naturally, was finding a head coach. As I scanned the prospects throughout the country, college or pro-wise, the name that came up most often was Ted Marshall-Broda from the Washington Redskins.
I feel that I've served my apprenticeship as far as an assistant is concerned. I've been an assistant for 14 years, and I think what I bring with me, number 1, is experience, and I think number 2 is the fact that the last 9 years have been, they've been winning years. I took the job in Baltimore for one reason only. I honestly believe that we have the talent here in Baltimore to win.
The talent to win that new head coach Ted Marchibroda inherits is young talent with unlimited potential, particularly on defense, where only 2 players have played more than 3 seasons. One such player is the man in the middle of the Baltimore defense, Mike Curtis, number 32, whose 10th season in the NFL may well have been his best ever. Besides his usual head-hunting hitting, Curtis led the Colts in interceptions. As an individual, the rock-hard middle linebacker is the ideal peg on which to hang a defense. And in conjunction with the Colts' 2 outside men, linebacker is a Baltimore strength. Outside linebacker Tom McLeod, number 52, came in a trade from the Green Bay Packers and was especially strong at penetrating the backfield and closing off the outside. While McLeod specialized against the run and Curtis specialized in being everywhere at once, outside backer Stan White, number 53, picked his spots and made his trademark the big play. White, McLeod, and Curtis are certain starters, and backed up by Tony Bertucca, Danny Rhodes, and Dan Dickel, number 55, a trio of rookies in 74, the talent to win is there at linebacker for 1975. Of the 4 starters in the secondary, only Rick Volk, number 21, has extended experience. Volk's interception total the past 2 seasons has been down, but teams tend to stay away from the only experienced member of Baltimore's defensive backfield. And Volk gets into action as a sticker, one of the hardest hitting defensive backs in the league, in addition to his ball hawking talent as a safety. On the corners in 1974 were number 31, Nelson Muncie, a sure and steady tackler, and Ray Oldham, number 25. Oldham will be moved to safety next year. And number 30, Doug Nettles, a rookie in '74, will start on the corner in 1975. At safety with Volk will be number 40, Bruce Laird. Laird is more comfortable at safety, and 1974 was his first in a new position. A running back in college, Laird is a valuable kick return man who 2 years ago won the AFC kickoff return title and placed 4th in the conference in 1974. '17th round draft selection Tim Berra, number 84, is also a threat on kick returns and had his biggest moment of 1974 playing in Shea Stadium before his dad, New York Mets manager Yogi Berra. With a roster that contains many young players itching for action, Colts special teams are a part of Baltimore's talent to win. Tony Linhart and 10-year Colt veteran David Lee put the ball in play. Young bombers Randy Hall, Tim Rudnick, Danny Rhodes, Tony Bertuca go after it with an intensity that spreads to the whole team and makes the Colts one of the hardest hitting teams in the NFL. The talent to win comes from a talent to hit, and talent to hit stems from a hungry team that burns to be better. Within the past 2 years, Joe Thomas has used the draft to build a young Colt defensive line that is the key to the Colts' defensive talent to win. In 1973, 6'5", 260-pound Joe Ehrman stepped off the campus of Syracuse University and into the middle of the Colt defensive line and continued to upgrade his skills as a run jammer at tackle during 1974. But this season, Ehrman also developed the strong inside pass rush that the Colts so badly needed. Whoever plays next to Ehrman next year will be decided at training camp, when number 65, Bill Windauer, and number 74, Steve Williams, battle for the 4th starting slot on the Colts defensive line. While a dogfight looms for a starting tackle spot, no such competition exists at defensive end. 2 players who were both named to the all-rookie team will be the starters in 1975. Number 72, Fred Cook, a second-round draft pick from southern Mississippi, brings tremendous lateral mobility and the strength to one-hand a ball carrier or quarterback to one defensive end spot. The other defensive end will be last year's #1 draft pick, Giants 6'6" John Dutton from Nebraska, who played better than anyone could have predicted. Great pass rushing is 1 part technique to 5 parts desire, and a strong-willed rookie can excel as a pocket buster. Playing the run reverses the ingredients and usually takes time to learn. But not so with John Dutton. In his first year, he was already a complete player. With a highly successful draft the past 2 years, the Colts vastly upgraded their defensive line. And for 1975, Joe Thomas turned to the offensive line. Thomas traded Baltimore's #1 pick, the first selection in the entire draft, to the Atlanta Falcons for 6-year veteran, all-pro tackle George Coons. Then, with the Falcons selection also obtained in the trade and the 3rd pick in the draft,
Ken Huff, guard, North Carolina.
#68, Ken Huff, was considered the top offensive line prospect in college football last year. In fact, the best in several years. Add Huff and Coons to Ken Mendenhall, Dennis Nelson, Elmer Collette, David Taylor, Dan Neal, and Robert Pratt, and tight end Raymond Chester, #87, and the talent to win is there in the Colts' offensive line. After an off season in 1973, Chester recaptured his past championship form with 37 catches, most of them tough ones in the middle, the gut catches that a great tight end must make. Backing up Chester will be John Andrews, who will return to tight end after a year at fullback. The Colt outside receiving corps is the youngest unit on the team. Glenn Dowdy, #35, has a flair for the spectacular and can catch the long ball, as attested by his 22-yard average reception 2 years ago. Two rookies in 1974 will be the starters at wide receiver in 1975. #81, Roger Carr, made his selection in the 1st round in 1974 a good one, for he can hit the home run, averaging nearly 20 yards per catch. As a #1 selection, Carr's strong rookie year was not a surprise. However, Freddie Scott, #86, who came in the 7th round from Amherst College, was. A young Colt front 7 has the talent to win because they want to win and will settle for nothing less. When Colt fans watch the Baltimore backfield, they'll see a collection of versatile running backs. All can catch the ball. #38, Bill Olds, caught 21 passes, in addition to rushing for close to 500 yards as the Colts inside the tackles tough yardage man. Though used sparingly, Don McCauley, number 23, caught 17 passes and is the most versatile of the Colt backs, for he can catch, run, and pass. But the big man was Lydell Mitchell, number 26, who led the entire NFL in receptions with 72, including 13 in one game against the Jets, a Baltimore record. Mitchell has the hands to hang on to the tough ones, and given a little room, an innocent flare pass was a dangerous Colt weapon. For Mitchell runs with power, and one man is usually not enough to stop him. But Mitchell's instincts are those of a runner. Short pop passes got him room to run, but he was just as tough, cracking the line with over 750 yards rushing. So it is a diversified group of runners that have the talent to win, and it goes even further. The Colt runners can run, catch, or pass, and the Colt passers can run. Marty Domrey's averaged over 6.5 yards per rush in 1974. In addition, in his 6 NFL seasons, he has completed nearly 50% of his passes, and his versatility has proved valuable to the Colts. Colt hopes for the future closely parallel the fortunes of Burt Jones. Inserted as the starting quarterback in the season's 4th game, Jones showed that despite his great size, he is mobile, gaining over 7 yards a carry when forced to run. At 6'3", 205 pounds, stopping a running Burt Jones is a formidable task, and the Colts have the luxury of using this threat as part of their game plan. But the Colts are not going to win because Burt Jones can run. If the Colts are to win, it'll be because Burt Jones can throw a football as good as anyone, better than most. As the season wore on, Jones became more and more sure of himself. And having struggled through a learning process early in the year, by season's end, Baltimore fans got a taste of what an experienced Burt Jones can mean to the Colts. In the season's 12th week, high winds whipped through Orchard Park as the Colts faced the Buffalo Bills. In the spiral-eating winds, Burt Jones muscled holes through the gale as the Colts lost by 6 points, beginning a trend of near upsets for the Colts. The next week, against the Dolphins, Jones again threw well and very nearly generated the first big upset of his career, only to lose by one heartbreaking point. On the regular season's last Sunday, the Colts faced the New York Jets. And the old and the new were on display. Tried and true Joe Namath against the new gun come to town, Burt Jones. Namath was brilliant, passing for 281 yards and 2 touchdowns, but Burt Jones was even better with 4 touchdown passes, 385 yards, 36 completions, 17 of them in a row, a new NFL record for a practically new starting quarterback. In Burt Jones, the talent to win is there. He is a winner. And with Jones in control of the offense and the many lessons learned during the 1974 season, the Baltimore Colts are not far from being winners again, too.
I think the most important thing that came out of last season, despite the win-a-loss record, I think we have a fine unity of our football club now. When you're playing good football and getting beat week after week, and if you can still stay in there and hang in there, as we did throughout the football season, we never got blown out. This is the thing that concerned me more than anything else. So I think they have learned to work and play under pressure. I think they know the value now of hard work and what it takes to be a winner.
The Baltimore Colts have indeed learned what it takes to be a winner. 1974 was a tough, character-testing season for the team. But the players are there, most of them brought in by Joe Thomas, who has built winners before in Minnesota and in Miami. And now he and owner Robert Irsay have brought a man to mold them in Ted Marchibroda, a man with a background of winning. And as Marchibroda said, I took the job in Baltimore for one reason. I believe we have the talent to win.